All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, welcome back.
This time, we are going uh, deep into the world of fleas.
Ooh,
Yeah,
fleas.
and you know, I gotta say, as a pet owner myself, fleas are definitely not my favorite creatures,
Yeah, tell me about it.
but there's a whole lot more to these little guys than just being a nuisance.
That's right.
And especially when we start talking about
That's
something like the
right.
bubonic plague.
Oh, yeah. Now you're
So
talking.
we've been looking at some research on flea control,
Yeah,
and it's gotten me thinking about
yeah.
this whole connection between fleas and this,
The
the
serious.
serious and historical disease.
Absolutely.
So to kick things off, when you hear the words bubonic plague,
Hmm.
I mean, what comes to mind? Is it like a history book thing or?
It's funny you should ask that because I think a lot of people they
Yeah.
think about the Black Death,
Right. Yeah.
centuries ago. But the plague is actually caused by a bacterium called
Oh, wow.
Yersinia pestis.
Yersinia pestis?
Still around.
Why? Really?
Oh yeah, like today.
Oh, wow.
There are cases happening all over the world.
Wow. I had no idea. So are you telling me that in the 21st century, like right now, fleas can still give people the plague?
Well, yeah, I mean, fleas, they're like these little tiny
Oh, that's,
vigors,
yeah.
and they pick up the plague bacteria from
Little fish
infected rodents.
Okay, so we're talking like,
Rats,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But also, our research here specifically mentions ground squirrels
Okay.
and rock squirrels.
And rock squirrels.
Yeah, particularly in Nevada.
Okay, hold on. Nevada. So this is hitting a little close to home here. This isn't just some far off thing, right?
Yeah, it is pretty close to home.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize how the environment plays a role
Mhm.
in all this. Like, researchers are even looking into how climate change could be affecting, flea populations
Wow.
and how that impacts the spread of diseases.
Wow. Okay, well, now I'm officially both very interested and a little freaked out. So, to avoid any unwanted encounters with these plague-carrying fleas,
Yeah.
tell me, what's the deal with their life cycle? Like, how do they even work?
Okay, so it all starts with, eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
And they lay these eggs near pets, right? So you're
Yeah.
talking carpets, bedding, those kinds of
Or it's
places.
cozy spots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these eggs hatch into larvae.
Larvae.
Yeah, like little worm-like
Okay.
creatures. And they feed off this.
I don't even want to know, but what do they feed off of?
Well, it's pretty gross.
Okay.
They like organic debris, like think hair,
Shit.
skin flakes, even like dried blood from the adult fleas.
Oh, that's disgusting. But it's fascinating how they've adapted to that.
It is. It is.
Mhm.
And so eventually they go into this pupal stage where they're in these cocoons
Okay.
and they can lie dormant for months, like think even up to a year.
Wow, that's a long time.
And the really crazy thing is what triggers them to come out as adults is
Okay, what is it?
the vibrations and warmth
Okay.
of a potential host passing by.
Oh, so they're just like waiting for
Yeah.
a warm body to...
They're just waiting to pounce.
Oh, no wonder flea infestations can be such a nightmare to deal with.
Right, exactly. And that's why you got to be proactive. You need to be thinking about prevention
Okay.
and control, and you got to target all those different life stages.
Okay, so that makes sense. Regular cleaning, like hot water washes for bedding and
Wow.
vacuuming that, all helps disrupt those early
Yeah,
stages, right?
it's the basics.
Okay.
But what about like those hard to reach spots?
Right. Where those larvae might be hiding.
Yeah, that's when you got to bring in
What do we bring in?
the big guns,
Okay.
the insecticides.
The insecticides.
Especially the ones for those like cracks and crevices.
Okay.
And there's these really cool things called insect growth regulators.
Insect growth regulators.
Yeah, they're mentioned in the research.
Okay,
And
yeah.
they're different because they don't just kill fleas outright.
Okay.
They actually mess with their development
Really?
so they can't become adults.
Oh, wow. So it's like a hormonal intervention for fleas. That's amazing. How does that even work?
So imagine like you're disrupting those signals
Yeah.
that tell a flea larva to turn into an adult.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what these insect growth regulators do. They're like,
Okay.
nope, you're not growing up today.
Wow. That's really smart. And of course, we can't forget about our furry friends.
Of course not.
We need to protect them too.
Absolutely. There are tons of different treatments
Okay.
for pets, shampoos, powders, collars.
Yeah.
Got to read those labels carefully.
Oh, for sure.
Make sure you got the right product,
Yeah,
right species, right size. Follow the instructions.
absolutely. Yeah. It's like, with any kind of medication, you got to be careful.
Exactly. And another thing that the research talks about
Okay.
is insecticide resistance. it's becoming a problem. So you might even need to, like, rotate treatments or talk to your vet.
To get the best approach.
Exactly.
It's like an ongoing battle.
It is.
It's like a constant arms race against these little guys.
Yeah.
But speaking of arms races, let's circle back to the plague for a minute. I'm really curious about those ground squirrels and rock squirrels they mentioned, especially here in Nevada. What makes them so concerning?
Well, they're really susceptible to the plague.
Okay.
And they're, like, everywhere in Nevada. And their burrows, their nests, they can become like breeding grounds for fleas.
Oh, wow.
And those fleas can be carrying the bacteria.
Right.
So if people come into contact with those infected fleas, whether directly or through their pets, there's a risk.
Okay, that's a good point. So maybe we should all be a bit more cautious, especially when we're out and about in nature.
Right. Be mindful, look out for, rodent activity, especially if you see any sudden die-offs.
Oh.
If you see anything suspicious, definitely contact your local health authorities.
Okay, good advice.
They know what to do.
Wow, I really learned a lot from this deep dive. I always knew fleas were annoying, but I never realized how complex they are and how much of a health risk they can pose.
It's pretty wild, right? You wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Something so small could have such a huge impact.
I know.
Both on history and our health today.
It really highlights how interconnected everything is in nature, doesn't it? Like, even the smallest creatures can play a really important role.
Absolutely. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And we got to keep learning
Yeah.
about these creatures so we can protect ourselves and the environment.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for all this insight. I feel much more informed and a lot more aware of these tiny but mighty fleas. And to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious. And maybe give your pets a little extra love just to be safe.
And check for fleas.
And check for fleas.